Very much for joining us on the programme and for your insight. For our next story, we head to the Middle East, where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reaffirmed Israel's commitment to protecting its interests and regional stability, focusing on two main goals: the demilitarization of the area south of Damascus and the protection of the Druze community in the Druze mountains. Netanyahu explained that these objectives were violated by the Syrian regime, prompting Israel to act. The Israeli Defense Forces launched airstrikes on Syrian military targets, including a Ministry of Defense building in Damascus, in response to attacks on the Druze population. This led to a ceasefire and the withdrawal of the Syrian forces. Netanyahu emphasized Israel's stance on not tolerating further military activity south of Damascus or harm to the Druze community. He also shared a message from Sheikh Mowassaf Tarif, leader of Israel's Druze community, who called for Israel's help. Netanyahu confirmed Israel's commitment to protecting its people and allies. Let's in fact listen to what Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu had to say.
דרוז המרחב, דרומית לדמשק, מהגולן ועד אזור הר הדרוזים. זה קו אחד. הקו השני, שמירה על האחים של האחים שלנו, הדרוזים בהר הדרוזים. שני הדברים האלה הופרו על ידי המשטר בדמשק. הוא שלח צבא דרומית לדמשק, לתוך האזור שצריך להיות מפורז, והוא התחיל לטבוח בדרוזים. את זה לא יכולנו לקבל בשום צורה. ולכן הנחיתי את צה"ל לפעול ולפעול בעוצמה. להעביר תקף גם את כנופיות הרצח וגם את הרקב, והוספתי יד גם לתקוף בדמשק את משרד הביטחון. בתוצאה מהפעילות העצומה הזאת השתררה הפסקת אש והכוחות הסורים נסוגו חזרה לדמשק. זה חשוב, זה הפסקת אש שהושגה מתוך עוצמה. לא מתוך בקשות, לא מתוך תכנונים, מתוך עוצמה. ואנחנו משיגים שלום מתוך עוצמה. שקט מתוך עוצמה, ביטחון מתוך עוצמה, בשבע חזיתות. זו גם תהיה המשך המדיניות שלנו. לא נאפשר לכוחות צבא לרדת דרומית לדמשק, לא נאפשר.
We're now joined by Professor Rohan Gunaratne, who's an international security expert, joining us live from Singapore. Professor Gunaratne, always a pleasure to have you on the programme. We've just read out Netanyahu's goals there, Prime Minister Netanyahu's goals. He cited two of them: the demilitarization of the area south of Damascus, otherwise known as the Golan Heights, and the protection of the Druze community. If Israel does continue using military force in order to achieve this demilitarization of the Golan Heights, which the international community sees as occupying, what ramifications can it face? So, by the way, I just want to add that it's only the United States that sees that territory as non-occupied land. Professor Gunaratne, what could be the ramifications of this if not a more regional conflict that could perhaps occur if this hostility continues?
Israel's policy has been to neutralize any threat to Israel. After the Hamas attack in October 2023, Israel is not going to tolerate any buildup of either Lebanese Hezbollah in Lebanon or of the Islamist groups in Syria. So Israel has very clearly stated that it will attack the presence of any Islamist groups, meaning the Syrian army, which is now under Ahmad Shara, that they will strike those targets. Of course, this has created a huge reaction, including the Turkish leader has recently condemned it, the Russian leaders and others have condemned it. But Israel's policy is no build-up of activity that poses a threat to Israel. But Israel has two other imperatives. One is the Druze. They want to protect the Druze south of Damascus because Druze are very loyal to Israel. Second is within the Israeli army, there's a big Druze community. And they were very uneasy about the slaughter, the massacre of Druze south of Damascus by Ahmad al-Sharah's troops. So similarly, we have seen atrocities against the Kurds, against the Shia or the Alawites, and the Christians in Syria. So this time, Israel preempted such a massacre, although about 600 Druze may have died during the last week. So Israel's policy is don't harm the Druze. If you harm them, we will bomb you. That is Israel's message.
Professor Gunaratne, thank you very much. You are staying with us to discuss a related